Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a sci-fi movie review and I'll be having a look at the movie Snowpiercer. Now, this I believe is a joint Korean and American production, and I think it's actually based on a French graphic novel. And the basic premise is, at some point in the kind of near future, to try and sort of combat global warming, a kind of technology is discovered to try and essentially cool the Earth's atmosphere, but it goes wrong and ultimately ends up freezing the entire planet. And the only human survivors are the passengers aboard this kind of futuristic train. And this kind of train was built to design to do sort of withstand a variety of different kind of harsh weather conditions, and it has to keep going. This kind of new railway, which kind of pretty much goes around the whole world, and it has to keep going really to stop it from kind of freezing up. And the kind of central premise of the story is that within this train is a kind of almost its own sort of ecosystem in a way, with the kind of the way that humanity sort of lives within this. And you've kind of got the haves and the have-nots, and of course the have-nots, who are kind of led by Chris Evans' character Curtis, kind of want to revolt and sort of against the kind of the more upper class people, because they've obviously got the short end of the stick, so to speak. And the main plot here is kind of this group of revolutionists kind of moving their way up through the train to the front of the train to try and take over it. And as a kind of story unravels, we kind of introduced to sort of more characters, and we find out that well, there's a plan for everything, let me just say. Now, I can't really go into too much more detail than that, otherwise I'll just kind of spoil it for you. Now, this film is an interesting movie. It's a clever film, and it's got some sort of good thought behind it. It's a little bit heavy on the old metaphors, which I think possibly can put some people off, but there's a lot to like about this film. It's obviously a very intelligent movie that's kind of well thought out, well made. It's got a great cast, so you've got you know, lots of faces you'll recognise. Obviously, I've mentioned you've got Chris Evans, you've got Ed Harris, you've got Jamie Bell, Matilda Swanson, a whole bunch of people who you're going to recognise in this movie. So, fantastic cast, sort of well thought out story. Special effects are pretty decent. There's a couple of shots where the kind of CGI does look a little bit ropey, but overall I think the effects are pretty good. It has a lot of influence, I would say, this film. This film reminded me a whole bunch of previous sci-fi movies. Most notably, I think, Metropolis, Logan's Run, The Matrix. So there's a whole kind of like a sort of swirl of influences that I can kind of see in this movie. I have a couple of issues with it. I kind of just got to say briefly. So without sort of trying to go too much into the kind of spoilers, as I've mentioned, we have this sort of ecosystem within the train, and we have the kind of the poor people and the rich people, and I don't really understand why the ruling class don't simply kill off the kind of the rebellious sort of lower class, so to speak. We are given a reason towards the end of the movie, but I think it's a little bit flimsy, if I'm completely honest. And I didn't quite buy that as sort of a valid reason why. So I think if you were in this situation and they had these kind of like people that you ultimately had to sort of feed and really didn't do anything, you probably would have just killed them off. That's what I would have thought. Anyway, there's that. And as we sort of go through the training, I guess the only other criticism, I was just kind of, you kind of see some very interesting sort of compartments within the train in the kind of the upper sort of class section. There's bars, there's barber shops, spas, all sorts of stuff. But I didn't see anywhere for these people to live. So we kind of go through these like nightclub sections and everything like that. But it's all populated by these, I guess, the upper class people. But I didn't see any living quarters. I'm thinking, where the hell do these people actually live? They just seem to just stay in this one particular area, like the nightclub area or whatever. So there you go. A couple of just minor issues I have with this movie. But overall, there's a lot to like here. It's a thought-provoking movie. It's well acted. I think Chris Evans does a good job here. There's not a lot of comedy in this film. It's quite a sort of dark film. Jamie Bell's character is kind of, I guess, a sort of comedy relief. But again, he's not in it all that much. So it's quite a dour film. Again, without giving any spoilers, I think the ending I have some sort of questions with as well, but I can't really sort of go into that without obviously giving that away. So watch it and let me know what you think about that. It's an intelligent film. It's quite an original story. I quite enjoyed it. It's a little bit long. I actually think there's different cuts to this. I think the one I saw was about 2 hours 10 minutes, and I believe there is a shorter version. And I have to say, maybe it probably may benefit from that, I think. But anyway, I'm going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment. I look forward to seeing you next time.